7:21 p.m., May 22nd, 2026. We're on 75th Street down here on the east side. We wanted to show you. There is no housing shortage in Chicago. We have a, I don't know what it is. It's not really racism because we got a black mayor and he's against his own black people. But look at this. This whole block is abandoned here. The whole block. It's a complete block. Look at all these units all empty here. I'll show you here. Let me show you this, right? 75th Street, by the way. We're by South Shore. We're by the place where the ice raids were, where there Trendeago was living, right? Look at this. Look, there's a building there abandoned. Look at that. This whole building's abandoned there. Look at that. That's an abandoned building. That's a whole block there, man. Check that out. Pretty wild, ain't it? And then you got a mayor that keeps saying we don't have a housing. Damn, there's a whole damn block right there. You could put at least 50 families in there. 50 families at least, I bet you. Look at that. It's all abandoned there, man. The hell, why we got lying mayor. He keeps lying. But they paid migrants to be down here. It is what it is. If they want to live a good life, the migrants, fine. And if they're here legally, then that's fine with me too. Look at this. This whole, everything is all abandoned. See that there? Look, all these buildings are abandoned. We don't have a housing shortage. See that there? We're on what? I don't even know what damn street we're on here. That liquor store, even that store is closed. Look at that. They got order of order. Everything's closed here, man. Look at that. See, right? Let me show this to you. See that? It's closed. They have no businesses here. That whole building is shut down there. See that there? We're on what? This is Kingston here, right? Let me show you this, right? So we got on 75th and Kingston. Look at this. This whole block is empty. Why didn't we fix? We could have used all that migrant money, used the migrants as labor, and say, hey, you want to stay in our society? Oh, man, that's all shot up. Look at that. You got bullet holes in this one here. Want to see that? That's got bullet holes there. You want to see? There's bullet holes right there, man. It's a little dangerous down here. Yeah, it's not. Oh, see, yeah, it's hard to not talk about things, and then you know what? I look. I'm an older white dude, and if I say certain things, they'll call me Ku Klux Klan, racist, all this stuff. I lived all my life in Chicago. My wife's Asian. I have biracial children. Whatever, man. You know what I'm talking about? They all made it. But look. We had all those migrants here. Why didn't we use the billions of dollars, use the migrants to fix all these places up? They didn't. Look, this is wiped out. Both sides is wiped out. Look at that. You know, the migrants were right down here on Phillips, right? And then they were down here on South Shore. We're going to end up at South Shore over here. I'm going to show you over here, right? They got some new development here, but remember how did we start the video? We started the video with what? A brand new school. Look at this. This whole block is messed up. Look at that. Look at that. The whole block is empty here. See that there on Exchange? This is right by the train here. There's a beautiful train station here. Look at this. It's beautiful here. Imagine living right here, man. You could go to downtown on the electric train. That's even environmental. It's electric. See that there? That's environmental, man. That's environmental. That's electric train. That ain't even diesel, man. Look at this. It's all wiped out here. I was here for a murder, I think, here, too. There was a murder, I think, in that building over there at one time. Right there in that one. Look, it's beautiful. It's environmental, man. Got that? Look, that's an electric train, man. You don't even need Tesla down here. See that there? Look, that's electric. Those lines are electric there. You can go to downtown. Imagine you lived here. You go right down that train to downtown, and you're not even using diesel fuel, right? You're an environmentalist then. See that there? Look at that. It's beautiful down here. See that there? We're going to take you to the building where Trendeago lived, right? And they were murdering people, putting people into the concrete. They were murdering people and burying them into concrete. The guy even admitted it. At the Citgo, that's the only thing's open down here, man. Citgo is owned by Venezuela. Everybody knows that, right? It's a Venezuelan, it's owned under Venezuela. Look at that, it's beautiful. Imagine living next to the train. Bam, you can go to Indiana on this train, or you can go to what? Downtown on this train, both. That's cool right there. See that there? But what? They're kicking the blacks out of here. That's what they're doing. Look at that whole corner is wiped out. Look at that. The whole corner is wiped. See that there? I'll show you. Look at this guy waiting for the bus right here. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna be quiet, right? He ain't black. He's Mexican. See that? Or he's Hispanic. You see this guy right here? Look. This guy walking right there. It's a Hispanic right there. You see that there? Right there, man. He's Hispanic. This ain't a Hispanic neighborhood, bro. Never was. I don't think it was since I grew up. And then we're getting down here, right? This is Coles, 75th and Coles. Look at it, it's wiped out. So think about it. They had all the migrants here. Man, there's another building messed up. Look at that. It's all messed up over there. See that there? That's messed up. Remember, mayor's been mayor 3 years. He hasn't done nothing here. Except they did what? They spent money on the migrants. This is the migrant building where the ICE raids happened. They said it was fake. There was no migrants. And it was confirmed. These were migrant Tren de Aguas in here. That's 75th and South Shore. Shut down. They got the money from Biden. When the Biden money dried up, it was gone. Guess who used to live in that building? Blacks lived in that building. That's a black building. Then they put the migrants in there. They pushed out some blacks. And now what? There is nobody living in there. Now all the blacks are pushed out of there, right? Blacks used to live in that building. Now they're not living there. You want me to show you another building they did that? They did that over on 61st and King Drive. I talked to the people in the neighborhood. Same thing. Blacks used to live in the building. They put the migrants in there. They pushed the blacks out. Now what? The building's boarded up. You think they're going to let blacks back in that building? I highly doubt it. Look at that. You want to see this here? Look. Again, a new school built right there. You see that there? That was all Tren de Aguas in here. There was some blacks in here. But this was in the old days. This was all black people lived in here. It's a black neighborhood. There you go. Now, who lives here? No one lives here. No one lives here. So they use the migrants to push the blacks out. You got that? They're using them as tools of gentrification. That's the point. It's the point of this video, right? The tools of gentrification. Got that? Can I get in there? Is that shut down there? That's a school there. We don't want to get busted, right? I'll make a U-turn and I'll show you guys that whole building, right? There's more buildings over here that are abandoned. Keep moving, right? There's a brand new school here, grammar school. There's South Shore School, brand new. And we just seen that other school there, brand new. Why would you build brand new schools if you had all these abandoned buildings? Well, because you're planning on somebody else living here. That's what's happening. There you go. We're going to end. I'm running 2 videos right now. I'm making a side video, right? There you go. Remember, this is the one they made a big show about. This is where they had the helicopters. Remember that? They had jumped on the roof here. And they said there's no Tren de Agua here. And then they found out there was a multiple Tren de Aguas here, right? Again, there's a story that one of the Tren de Aguas here murdered a guy and buried him in cement. And he laughed at the cops. He goes, "You're never going to find the dead body because he's in the cement. You'll never find him." Yeah, that guy lived in this building here. Tren de Agua. That's what this is. Blacks used to be here. Migrants came. They got a bunch of money. Never fixed the building. There's a guy that used to be the maintenance guy. He's got tons of videos on TikTok about this. He tells you the whole story. I'm not even telling you an original story. Is a black guy who was the maintenance guy here. He tells the whole story of how this happened. He tells the whole story. I'm not making up this stuff. I watched all his videos. He's on TikTok. I forget his name. You know him. He's got long dreads. Skinny guy. Dark-skinned skinny guy. He tells you the whole story of here. And now guess what? How many blacks are living here now? None. It's closed down. Why don't you check 62nd and King Drive on the west side of the street? How many blacks are living there? None. You can go to all of these buildings where they put the migrants. We'll go over to Phillips if you want. You want to go over to the Phillips one where they had the migrant murders inside of the building? The one we were at Thanksgiving? You know how many people living in there? No, there's people living there. They reopened that building. I got to check who lives in there, though. But here there was black people living in there. Oh, Jonathan says go by. All right, I will. I have to try it out. Yeah, I was downtown yesterday. Look, downtown was sketchy. So there you go. 75th and South Shore. The ice building where Benovich raided the building with a helicopter. They said there was no Tren de Aguas. And it was Tren de Aguas here. And now it's shut down, and what happened? They kicked all the black people out. We're going one more video for you here. We're going to turn around so you can see it, right? Look at this. This is a beautiful place. Imagine, who do you think is going to live here in 20 years when we're all old? I won't live that long. I hope to live 30 years. We'll see. I hope to live another 30. Who do you think is going to live here in 30 years, everybody? Who do you think is going to live here? You want to see what's right here? 75th on the lake. Look at this. Who do you think is going to live here? Did you know that this was this kind of a place? There's a beach right here. It's a private beach. Look at this. Has anybody ever seen this in Chicago? Did you know that this was Chicago? Look at this. Look. This is like living in Florida, man. But you're not going to get flooded out. Florida's flooding out. Look at that. And in California, what is it? They're having fires, right? Look, you want to see the downtown here? Why do you think they're pushing people out of here? There you go. Downtown's right in front of you, man. But you're not downtown. And how do you get to downtown? Environmental electric train. You can go downtown by stepping on the environmental electric train. You have a beach. There you go, Holly. Yes, Holly, you figured it out. They want the blacks out of here. This is ultra gentrification. By what? The people that are running the city. It's not about blacks and whites. This is about gentrification, putting people out. And they use a guy black. You know, if they want to, they'll put a Mexican as mayor. They'll put a white person as mayor. They'll put a Jew as a mayor. They'll put whatever up as a mayor. Whatever the flavor of the day is, that's how they work. That's how they work. It's pretty cool property here. I would love to live here. Right on the lakefront. They got the fresh breeze in back of me. This is a school for your kids right here. And it's even famous. And I got another video running, I'll shut down. And it's even famous. They used to have Tren de Agua right there. That's where they jumped on the roof with the helicopters. There you go. We're going to go a little south here, right? There you go. That's Tren de Agua, that building right there. 75th Street. Cleaning it out.